Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be joined by Dee Dee Foster today, vocal coach, backup singer, backing vocalist with incredible harmonies. The thing is that she has worked with everybody, and I mean everybody in the business, from Stevie Wonder to Anastacia to even Kanye West, Culture Club. I could go on and on, but you're right here. So we're going to talk about how you got started this. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
What got you interested in music?
Well, actually, I was kind of born into it.
Okay.
So both my mom and dad, my mom was a singer, songwriter.
Right.
So I grew up with like a Fender Rhodes in my living room
Sure.
and my mom writing. And my dad is a professional singer still to this day.
Sure.
He's a lead singer for the Five Blind Boys of Mississippi, which is a quartet style gospel group.
Is that similar to Five Blind Boys of Alabama?
Yes, they
Sure.
have the same, like the Alabama and Mississippi, they actually used to be together at one point.
Yes,
They broke
okay.
off, so it's all together.
Right.
So he's the lead singer of the Mississippi ones,
Right.
Sandy Foster Jr.,
Sure.
and still working. So, so that's how it kind of was. So at a very young age, like 5 and 3, my mom had me harmonizing
Sure.
with my brother. And so I've always known I wanted to do it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's always
Exactly.
been in, but I was kind of intimidated because my mom was so amazing.
Right.
So I felt like I couldn't, they basically do as well as she, or what they expected of me. So I kind of was down a little bit. And then when I got to, middle school,
Mhm.
I started doing a little bit more singing.
Sure.
High school, I joined like a community choir,
Right.
went to performing arts high school.
Sure. And what city were we in at this point?
I'm from Cincinnati,
Okay.
Ohio.
Sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Bootsy Collins from there.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And so I did, went to performing arts high school
Sure.
and got a scholarship to go sing in college when I
Okay.
graduated.
Which is good.
Yeah, so you
Makes it
can,
a little
'cause
cheaper.
people don't even know, like sometimes
Right.
you can get a scholarship to sing at
Right.
school,
Sure. Right.
So I went and sang an audition. They gave me some
Sure.
money to go to
Right.
college.
And you didn't turn it down.
So I went to Central State University in
Sure.
Ohio,
Great.
in Wilberforce, Ohio, and I majored in music education.
Sure.
So that's it. So it's just been always with me, and I just decided to make a career out of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, it's a big jump from Cincinnati to Los Angeles. So how did you transition out of college? Because people always want, as I know you may understand, to understand these pathways because everybody's is unique,
hmm
but also it's so unpredictable so many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Actually, I made a conscious decision. Do you know what I mean? I literally sat down
Right.
and looked at some paper and said, okay, I want to move. I was either deciding to move to Los Angeles
Sure.
or Atlanta at the time, was
Right.
building up for music
Sure.
after college. And I
Yeah.
was like, I know I wanted to become a professional singer.
Sure.
That was the goal. Went to college and got the degree,
Sure.
to have something to fall back on, make my parents proud.
Of course.
So I have a music teacher degree, but I never taught music yet,
Right.
really.
Right. So working on it.
But anyway, so I decided to come to LA. I came to LA actually to visit
Sure.
some of my friends from college.
Don't we always?
Yeah, I came. I said, let me just check it out. So
Right.
I
I
came
just
out here
want
to
to see
check
what the
it
water
out.
looks like.
I did, literally. And I had an audition set up. Some friends of mine talked to me about an audition. Went to this audition, and I was like, I just want to see how it is in Hollywood.
Sure.
How is a Hollywood audition? What happens?
Right.
And I really went just trying to figure it out.
Understood.
The night before, I learned a song because I had been singing a lot of gospel, so I didn't know
Right.
any R&B.
Sure.
So I was like, let me learn a song really quick for this audition.
Sure. There's a couple of minutes.
Learned a song and went to the audition and got in the audition and it got to the place and it was like literally like what you would think Hollywood would be.
Exactly.
It
Line
was
out the door.
It was a line out the
At
door.
6 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like everybody and I was like, this is really Hollywood, right? So I go to the audition, like you said, classic Hollywood audition, nervous.
Right.
And I had worked on that song and I was like, you know what? I worked on this song last night, but I'm so nervous. I
Sure.
can't really sing that
Sure.
song.
Right.
Can I sing a gospel song?
Sure.
And she was like, absolutely.
Right.
And I was like, okay. So I sang the song and the lady was like, oh my God, let's put a zillion stars next to her name. And she told me, she said, if you can sing this other song, if you know this other song and can sing it, I'll give you the job. And of course, I almost fainted.
Sure.
Long story short, she told me the song. It was the only song I knew by that artist.
Sure.
I sang the song
Sure.
and she gave me the job. So
Just out
my
of curiosity, do you remember either song? The one that you sang, the gospel song, or the one?
it was actually, now the song that I learned was by this artist named Faith Evans,
Sure.
but I
We've
forgot it.
heard of her.
Right?
Yeah.
So I forgot it. I learned like, soon as I get home. I learned that one. Then when I
Right.
got to the audition, I was too nervous.
Sure.
So then it was this artist, her name is like Vanessa Bell Armstrong.
Mm-hmm. A couple of
And
people have heard of her.
yes,
Yeah, maybe a movie
and
or two. Yeah,
me and my roommate and I, we used to listen to this album of hers,
sure.
and because my roommate was a singer also. And it was this one song, the only song I used to sing by her called You Bring Out the Best in Me.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said it's one song by this lady named Vanessa Bell Armstrong, I'm thinking, that can't be the song
Sure.
I know,
Right.
you know. And she was like, it's called You Bring Out the Best in Me. And I was like, oh. And then she was like, and if you do this riff that you do on that song, I'll give you the job. And I was
Sure.
like, and I was like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
I did the riff and she gave me the job.
Wow.
And so my first audition, I had been in California about 2 weeks,
Right.
visiting from friends.
Sure.
First audition, I got the job. So then I had to call home because I was going to teach, right?
Right, of course, absolutely. That was the plan all
called
along.
home, told the principal I
Sure.
wasn't coming,
Sure. Right.
and I just never left Los
Sure,
Angeles.
right.
I literally did.
Been there ever since.
I've been there ever since. Like,
So it's still a big leap from
yeah.
that to really being able to say, I can do this professionally and
Mhm.
essentially become a studio musician session-wise.
Mhm.
How did that all occur? It was sort of like that first big artist or two that you were touring with
Mhm.
regularly or working for in the studio regularly where you're like, no, I'm on my way.
This is it. You know what my thinking was? Maybe I can sing background first,
Mm,
and then I could learn the music business
Sure.
and then be an artist.
Sure.
That was my goal.
Right.
So I got out here, and basically everything is kind of like snowball effect. You
Mhm.
meet people,
Yes.
everybody, you meet people. I got some jobs just because like, Dee Dee's cool. I don't know
Sure,
if she can
right.
really sing. Let's
Sure.
just bring her in.
Right.
And then, oh, she can sing,
She's good vibe.
So that's really what happened. Everything just kind of snowballed. I mean, that first artist, and I started doing TV shows with her. And then from her,
And that was?
her name was actually, she didn't really do too well, but she was new. Her name was Davina.
Mm-hmm.
But she really had a really, really cool song.
Mm-hmm.
And she did really well. And I toured with her. And then from there, I just started just working, and I was with this lady named Maya.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like maybe one of my second jobs, I think Maya was. And
Sure.
then I worked with this guy, Montell Jordan.
Yeah, heard of
Yeah,
him. So
yeah.
sounds like we have somebody in common. Oh, let's just say Shep Crawford.
Shep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yes, he's
Shep
interviewed him.
is the one who is responsible for my work ethic.
Yes.
He has done so much for me. When I first came to Los Angeles, he's the one that showed me how to lay these vocals
Right.
that Skylar Lex is talking about.
Right.
Shep Crawford is the one
Sure.
that showed me how to go in the studio and to lay vocals quickly.
Sure.
So that's what when I came to LA, I started doing demo work.
Right.
For Montell Jordan's camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blessed to be able to get on this song. Girl, if it's all right, let's go somewhere and get it on tonight. And the girl that goes, I'm ready, we can get it on. I'm ready, we can get it on. I know where I've been wrong. With you is where I belong.
Dee Dee Foster was amazing vocalist. She was one of my background vocalists. She came in, and this was a time period when it was just like, bass guitar come in and play, get paid to be a bass guitar player. A person come in, they sing backgrounds on the song, they get paid. But like her voice on this song to me is like timeless, and I wish it was a different time period where she could have been featured, and it would have been, Montell Jordan featuring Dee Dee Foster, because all women have been singing this song, for 20, almost 30 years
that
now.
part is so memorable.
And it's a memorable song, and her voice is memorable too. So I'm just saying, Dee Dee, I thank you wherever you are. I love you, and your voice has a place in history on this song. So.
And I worked with them so much, did all that stuff for them, and I just started working. And I just became blessed. I got with this man, Ricky Minor.
Sure.
Ricky
Just
Minor
happens to
No.
conduct a few award shows. I mean, there's tiny award
I
shows,
thank God
right?
for him.
They're so small.
That's how I was able to do the Emmys and all
Sure.
this other stuff because of Ricky.
Right.
And so even to this day, he still calls me, and I thank
Yes.
God.
Mhm.
So because of him, I just did Josh Groban just because of Ricky. And, I toured with Jennifer Hudson, and
Sure.
I toured with Robin Thicke, and of course Anastacia, and so many people I've
Right.
sang
Stevie
behind.
Wonder, I heard.
Stevie Wonder, I sang behind Stevie. I sang behind Beyonce, Rihanna, Carrie Underwood, Celine Dion. let's see who, I mean, and sometimes you
Tori.
forget, you know what I mean? You forget certain things. I just sang behind Tori Kelly recently too. And so just certain people, I'm just blessed. It's so many. And sometimes I look at my schedule, oh, look at my resume, like, oh, you know, some people you forget. I was
Right.
listening to, on the radio one day and I was singing, Easy like Sunday morning, and I was, oh, I forgot I did this TV show and sang behind Lionel Richie.
Sure,
So
right.
sometimes you forget Lionel Richie, Charlie Wilson sang, you know. So the thing is, you have these amazing people that call you, you tour with these amazing people, and then sometimes I'm home and I get to do TV shows like American Idol, Dancing
Right.
with the Stars, all the late night shows. I've done so much. I've just been blessed, thank God. And session work has been amazing.
Right.
Worked on different people's records and albums and all this other really, really cool stuff. And of course, you know, it was all, you know, preparing me to work on my own stuff.
Right.
So now I have Dee Dee Foster and I have
Yes.
my own record and I was able to produce my own stuff and have my own record label based on the information that I learned for singing all those different stars,
All
you
those
know?
years. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Let's dissect that a little bit because I know you have a book and we're going to talk about that in a bit as well. Some of it is personality.
Mhm.
A lot of people would say, and I think you've written it or touched on it several times with your students, you've got to be easy to work with. You can't cause trouble, have too much of an attitude.
Yeah.
Talk to us about maybe an example where that really wound up being critical, where you may have gotten a session simply maybe after somebody else was let go because maybe the behavior wasn't what it needed to be.
Well, actually, this is, like you said, this is literally what I teach in the journey to becoming, which is the thing that I've done, my online course, because it is very important. It is crucial to your success, who you are. And that determines how far you're going to go.
Yes.
Who you are, that's it. That's what it's all about. You can be amazing like Ledisi or Jennifer Hudson, but if your personality sucks, nobody's going to call you. They'd rather have a singer that's going to do their part like an Aaliyah or a Janet and just deal with it if she has a great personality rather than a major singer. And I've learned that. One situation that happened that I was able to really witness when I was singing background. I did a tour with Jessica Simpson, and the producer, the musical director, asked me to get the singers. And he was like, whoever you want to get, Dee Dee, get. I was like, yay! And I was all happy to be able to bring in my friends because that's what we do, right?
Sure, of course, absolutely.
And I remember telling him I wanted to bring in a singer, and he said no. And I was like, what? Because she can sing. And he was like, we can't deal with her for a whole tour. Her personality would not work. On a tour bus, it just wouldn't work. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, so I teach. It is so important who you are, you know what I mean? Based on, you know, can get your jobs and stuff like that. So that happened firsthand, I remember.
Sure. And we're not going to say any names, but certainly I also would believe and have heard that there's certain people where it's like, okay, no, you already know they're going to be a lot of trouble, even major singers, that is. And so sometimes that will caution because everybody sort of has this underground rumor mill of, well, you may want to think about if you want to bring her on this award show or into this venue or onto this TV show.
That's it. And I think what's so great when I meet celebrities that have reached a level of success and they still maintain professionalism, that's what's important, you know, and you can't, you know, take that for granted. You know, being there, being personable, polite, kind, nothing's wrong with that. And sometimes you do work with artists, and I work with artists, and they are just very unpleasant, not too nice, and you think, I don't want to be that type of person. Yeah.
What is it that changes if you could put a finger on it? What do you think happens?
To makes the people the way they are, makes them not polite to be with.
Yes, not as nice. And you said that very politely, by the way.
Yes. I think sometimes, well, you know what? I'm thinking there was one person that I really don't particularly care for. I'm sorry, but they were very, very rude when I worked with them. A gentleman. But and I haven't mentioned him because I don't even really put him on my resume pretty much. But I, you know what? I think sometimes it is definitely, unfortunately, who you are. And then I think sometimes people just don't remember sometimes where they came from, you know, and they need to be humbled at times, you know. So I don't know. I think sometimes, like you said, people can just really get a little bit too high, but I think we all have to realize we all started somewhere.
Right.
We've all started somewhere. We all needed someone at some point.
Yes.
And people have to realize everybody needs someone at
Yes.
some point. No
Absolutely.
matter how high you are or how far you get, you're going to need someone at some point. And another thing that people realize, especially in the field that I am in as a backing vocalist, a lot of times you see people that were probably the production assistant
Right.
and that are giving you the coffee and passing out and helping you.
Right.
And I may come back to that record company and that person has a title and they're a
Right.
job.
Right.
So you never know that that's truth to whoever you follow going up,
Right.
you
Sure.
can see them going back down. You
Right.
know what I mean? Mhm.
Sure. On that note, what are some pearls that you might give to artists in terms of how they really sort of develop their sound and
Mm.
find their voice?
Okay. Well, as far as people, I think people need to realize, as far as singers are concerned, some people feel like once you become a singer, professional singer, you don't need to learn anything else. You don't need to train or anything. I think it's essential to train. You know what I mean? I still train
Sure.
vocally. And I think people need to realize that Serena Williams trained. She is a coach.
Right.
So we need coaches as
Exactly.
well.
I
You
say that
know,
all the
we
time.
need coaches. So I think people need to realize that and always, always, work hard to better yourself.
Sure.
Right? You can never do that too much. And also, like you said, I think people need to realize it is about who you are, your professionalism, your work ethic.
Right.
That's one thing Chef Crawford used to
Sure.
say about me coming to work. And he said certain background singers, they look more professional. You come in, you're ready, you have your water, you have your words, you have your recorder, or whatever you're going to do and working and being professional. So I think it's important. I think you should realize that everybody's time is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable. So don't take up the time. When you're doing a session, get there, do what you need to do, be ready to work or whatever. So being professional, that's what it's all about. And as far as like working on your craft, even the beginning singers, which I work with sometimes because, I do the vocal coaching, everybody gets better.
Right.
I have noticed that.
Sure.
I have worked with some singers that are completely tone deaf. You
Yes.
come in and
Sure.
it's like really not good.
Right.
But I do notice they get better.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So everybody can get better with proper coaching. And that's what we should realize. And just really take it seriously and you'll get there.
Sure.
Mhm.
Taking it a step deeper, because
Mhm.
you had hinted at this when you're talking about your bio, harmony. That isn't something that everybody can just develop or
Mhm.
hear.
Mhm.
What are some tips that
Uh-huh.
you give?
Actually, I do work with singers on that because me as a singer and because I harmonize as a professional, that's what I do for a living. I feel like a lot of my singers, a lot of people don't really work with solo artists with that.
Mm.
You may work with a solo artist and she may be able to sing her part, but she cannot harmonize,
Right.
So I think that if people work on it, if they realize what it is, even maybe sitting down to a piano with someone, with your vocal coach, and seeing how the notes run together, triad, seeing how that is, how it sounds, hearing it,
Right.
or knowing and really, really, working on it. So I think that everybody may not be incredible. Everybody can't be a Lisa Fisher.
Sure.
Everybody can't be, an amazing singer. But I know that if you work on it, you can get better.
Sure.
Mhm.
So it sounds like some of the key elements you're saying are definitely to have a coach, not to think that you've mastered everything,
Mhm.
but also to continue to study the craft and don't let it go just
Mhm.
because you've gotten to a certain level.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's for vocal health as well.
Sure.
That's what we were talking about. I
Right.
mean, a lot of times, we as singers, we take that time because since I moved to Los Angeles, I have allergy problems
Sure.
and things like that. So I check in with my ENT, make sure everything is cool.
Sure.
Sometimes I have to take some allergy medicine and all for the drainage and everything. But vocal health is very important. Drinking a lot of water, having a humidifier,
Right.
a moisture, all those things are very important.
Sure.
Mhm.
So on that note, because you've been on tour, give us maybe a few tips, maybe not all the secrets, but changing all these different environments. Maybe it's more dry in the Middle East, maybe it's hotter in Arizona, maybe it's wetter in Ohio or colder in New York. How does someone keep, because I think so many times artists, whether they're major artists or backing, their voice healthy, because many times they may think, oh, that's just no big deal.
Mhm.
But over time, they can hurt their voice.
It does. I mean, you have to really, one thing you always should remember, warming up is great.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta warm up. Sometimes we don't. Even if you're just in the car on the bus and you're, just warming up a little bit, vocalizing, water,
Mm-hmm.
lubricating.
Right.
And then sometimes in some hotels, I don't know if people know this, but hotels, they have humidifiers downstairs. You can always get a humidifier sent up to your room. So that's really good. In some of the drier climates and everything, that's really good. So definitely just keep in mind rest.
Mm-hmm.
Rest is so important. Sometimes we get on the road and we're
Sure.
having fun and we're
Right.
kicking it and we're like, so I remember one time and I was so proud of myself, like discipline. We were on somewhere in some country and everybody was getting ready to go to the movies. So the whole touring production was going to
Sure.
the movies. I wasn't feeling well.
Right.
And the next day I know we had a show,
Right.
and everybody's like, oh, Dee, you got to go. And I'm like, okay, you guys are holding an instrument. My instrument is right here.
Right.
So I think I'm going to stay home. So that day I took an L and I did not go. And it was like one of my favorite movies and I
Sure.
stayed in.
Right.
But that's discipline. You
Sure.
know what I mean? Sometimes you can't hang out with everybody.
Right.
You can't up drinking all night.
Sure.
You can't do that.
Right.
And people have to realize I'm there to do a job.
Sure.
Sometimes when you're on the road, people get it twisted and they're excited about the place they are and they maybe want to go do some bungee jumping or things like that. I've seen on certain tours, dancers get sent home
Right.
out riding a bike and
Right.
hurt themselves, and this is their job. Sometimes you may not ride a bike because you're out here dancing.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Sure.
You may not want to go to a football game if you're going to be hollering and screaming,
Right.
and you're here to sing.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm
see what you're
saying? So
saying.
you have to be wise.
Sure.
Mhm.
Tell us some of those tips as relates to just really becoming a better vocalist, like over time. What are some of those types of things you think people can incorporate, whether it's listening to other professionals, having a vocal coach? How do you just, as time goes by, continue to kind of keep your ear sharp?
Challenging yourself.
Mhm.
Challenging yourself. A lot of times, and I realized I even did it earlier today. I taught a couple voice lessons today, and I pulled out some stuff that I sang to. It doesn't hurt to listen to some things. Actually, I was listening to some vocals I did a long time ago and was challenging myself to do as well as I used to. You know what I'm saying? So never forget to challenge yourself. And like musicians, they are always listening to things and they're shedding. We shed vocally. Sit home, vocalize, do some warm-ups. You know what I mean? And pull out some things that could challenge you. Some artists that you could always grow.
Sure.
It's some amazing people. Or like sometimes I may pull out some Ella Fitzgerald. Okay. You know what I mean? That's going to challenge you.
Right.
Or Sarah Vaughan. Those are some of the people that I may listen to challenge myself. Some gospel artists, Clark Sisters, things like that. I used to listen to that a lot when I was younger. When I was a kid, I used to listen to that. Whitney Houston, when I was a kid, I used to listen to her. So I think as an artist, as a person, you should see I tell my artists, even my vocal students, what are you trying to achieve? If you want better range, you work on your range. You know what I'm saying? Is that what you want to do? You need stamina, working out, your core.
Right.
Building up your muscle and your core, doing abdominal workouts. That is for your voice. That helps it. When I'm in a voice lesson, my voice teacher, shout out to Erica, when she's on me about, pushing, you know what I mean? And supporting the sound and contracting my stomach muscles. You know what I'm saying? That, doing cardiovascular workouts,
Right.
all of that, it works all together. It
Right.
really does. Everything.
Sure. Who was an amazing artist or an experience that you just couldn't believe that it was so positive and they were so supportive and things just really gelled well because of the positivity that they evoked? And
So
I'm sure
many.
there's several.
I mean, I'm
Sure.
gonna be honest with you. It's so many. So many people have made a great impression on me. One artist that happens to be a Broadway artist that I sang background for, and before getting with her, I didn't know who she was, and that's Heather Headley, who's a very great person.
Yeah.
I think she personifies professionalism, and the way she treated us was great. And I never forgotten that. I had the most fun. I can't say, it's really hard to say, but I think I enjoyed working with Boy George and Culture Club. I think because they were a band, maybe, I don't know, that they were very inclusive. Sometimes when you work with solo artists, the artist is there, and then the singers in the band are there. The artist is by themselves with their group. But with Culture Club, I think because it's a band, they were kind of just like, we're all going, you know what I mean? So working with them, it was a lot of fun because they have this band mentality. So I really enjoyed being with them, and it was so much fun. I enjoyed hanging out in London a lot, and I like the British humor, you know, so it's so much fun. So yeah, I enjoyed them a lot.
Sure. Tell us the title of your book and maybe one pearl that you feel people need to read the rest of it to see the others.
Okay, well, it hasn't been published yet, but they're not out yet. But The Journey to Becoming a Professional Background Singer. And basically, and it's so cool, all the things that you asked me, that's really what it's talking about. The professionalism of it, not just the singing part, because there's so many other aspects of it, And basically, I just want people to understand everything that you're going through to get to where you're going is the journey. And you need to enjoy the journey, enjoy it. Everything you're doing, the practicing, the rehearsing, the late nights in the studio, all the things that you're doing, just don't forget to enjoy it. Don't forget to enjoy it and enjoy the people that you're around. Always put the best foot forward. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things I like people to realize. And I'm a believer. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. And I just want people to realize that you can't do all of this on your own. So whatever your belief system is, whoever you depend on and believe in, you need to stick with that. And it's always okay to stay on the positive side because there's a lot of negative and there's a lot of darkness, but it's okay to stay on the positive side. So that's what I want to let everybody know. You can do it. You can do it.
As we're wrapping up, I want you, if you're comfortable, to take people inside. You've covered so many different genres and so many different types of artists. You mentioned Josh Groban and Stevie Wonder and Kanye West and Rihanna, and the list goes on and on. Anastacia, Miss Fisher, Miss Headley. What do things look like from you getting that call to sort of being on the inside? Because it seems incredibly complicated to be able to pick up the backgrounds on various sets, and it can be a very long set, maybe 10, 15, 20 songs, and maybe sometimes even only a few days, I hear, sometimes to prep.
It's such a great thing. I be honest with you, I just want to say I do love what I do. It's a great thing. Even as an artist myself, because I did tour myself with my own set list and sing Dee Dee Foster songs, and it's a great thing. But even getting that call that you're going to go on the road, per se, with Culture Club and hear the songs and the set lists, I personally sit down like old school. I know we have all these different things, these different devices, but sometimes I like to sit down and write the words. I like to see it. I like to see what I'm going to do, get it in my head, sit down with it, sing it, rehearse it, work on it. You know what I mean? Fortunately, when you're going on tour, they hammer it in your head so much, by the time you get finished with the production rehearsals, you're ready, set for the show. But me, per se, just really taking that time out to really get into the music, learning about it. And you learn so much about the artists in the process, like learning how they produce the vocal, things like that, listening to it and things like that. We get in the middle of it. When I worked with Barry White, it was amazing because I like the way his format, his form and analysis of the song is different than anything else that I've really seen. Because when he sings his verse, it's kind of like a chorus. You know what I mean? So it's really different the way he would lay his vocals. So I was like, oh, I see why he's the maestro. Unfortunately, I worked with him right before he gotten ill and they had to cut the tour short. But you learn so much. But really just getting in there, listening to the music, learning about the artists, and even times you have to change who you are, right? Vocally, to try to blend with the artist. So that's listening, working with the singers, blending with them, because that's what it's all about. The background singers being that foundation, you know what I mean, for the vocal, because you want the artist to be comfortable to do whatever they want to do. You want them to feel like, oh, I know Dee Dee, they got me. They got me. Let me just go ahead and do what I got to do. And that's the best feeling when you're working with an artist and they know they got me. You know what I mean? So really doing my time, working on my stuff by myself, working on it, memorizing words, writing notes down. I like when they have music because I can read, so that helps me. Memorizing things and getting with the other singers, gelling, getting the blend together, just getting it together, how we're going to do it, all the nuances of the music, things like that. Sometimes you have choreography.
Right.
Some artists you're working with, they have a whole choreography rehearsal, you know what I mean, and getting that together. So all of those elements come together. You go to production rehearsal, usually at the first venue, you get all that together, and next thing you know, it's showtime.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Teasing just one of those elements apart before we forget, just trying to, again, allow people to sort of see the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about an artist maybe, and if you can't name it, that's fine, or the person, but where it's whimsical, where sometimes they will literally redo the set maybe an hour or two before you guys go to show.
Let me see who was sort of interesting like that and have different ideas. Probably well, I don't know, because Boy George will come and change some things too. He was definitely, we may have a little rehearsal beforehand and get up and work some things out. We've been doing it the same way every night. And he's like, oh, come over here, girls, let's try this. How about we do this? Let me add this to the show. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So yes, there are times when you could come and they can do some things and change some things. Anastacia is a little fly by the, whatever. But, a lot of times I realize sometimes when it's people that are just talented, they're talented and they just want you to do what you do. And then that really pushes you to the next level to do what you do because you're professional. Okay, let's do it.
Right.
Let's do it. And you just go ahead and do it. So I can only think of those two that kind of, would think of things, think of ideas and come in. Most of, I think, the people that I work with, a lot of times they will allow the musical directors to take charge. But I think with George and with Anastacia, those were people that would come in and would definitely, make some changes if need be.
Right. Sure. Our show's called Music and Medicine. When you hear those words, how does it speak to your heart? Or how do you hear it?
Actually, music and medicine. Actually, it makes me think that music is medicine, actually, because we do know that music is healing.
Yes.
Music is beautiful. And even when I talk about it, see how it makes me feel, you know what I mean? Music. So that's basically what it makes me think about. When you think of medicine, you think of something that's going to heal you, something that's going to make you feel better. And with music, that's what it does for us. It's healing. It makes us feel better. And we use it. Everybody needs it. No matter what type of music you listen to, you can just get it and do it.
Sure.
It's good.
Whether it's your music or someone else's, what's that secret message that you hope people feel or that you communicate when you're singing so passionately?
For my music per se, which I love, even when I was doing my tour, it was so great because unfortunately I was going through a divorce and I was able to sing my music every night. And I was like, oh, this is so good. Look at these words, and it was so good. It's like, go that way. And so my music personally is inspirational. It's inspiring. I try to really be conscious of the words that I sing because we know that words are important and words help us and mold us, right? So my music is inspirational. It has great messages and everything. So I'm excited about that. And I'm happy that that's what it is. My music is healing. It has inspiring words and it fills you up. It's good. And then a lot of times I am speaking of God, and I've noticed that in my next project, I'm going to be a little bit more open about it and using the word of Jesus and using God as opposed to you just know me. Oh, that's what she's talking about. Because my first project was like, it's up to you. Oh, hope to dream. Oh, that's talking about God. Oh, I didn't know. So I think I'm going to be a little bit more open with it with my next project.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, you are delightful and very sweet, and we appreciate you sharing all these tips. I love when artists feel comfortable letting others sort of inside some of the business and allow them to sort of almost see visually not only the preparation, but how to protect yourself in terms of taking care of your health, but also, more importantly, show up and do the homework beforehand so that you're prepared.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful to meet you.
Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. Another thing I forgot to mention, I know you mentioned I'm from Cincinnati.
Yes.
And with Boosie Collins.
Yes.
And ironically enough, I'm on the compilation CD that Boosie Collins' foundation has out for the studio that they're building in Cincinnati for Bootsy Collins. And actually, I'm on there. And I think the CD, I can't remember which one I'm on, but actually, I'm on the one, I think, with Thundercat and some other artists and everything. So that's really, really great for King Records. So I'm really excited about that, being a part. And that's like Cincinnati, that's home. And that's, so that's what's going on right now.
Represents Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And the Reds. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. The Reds and the Bengals. Thank you.
Sure. A pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.